Good evening, I'm Adrian Arsenault. Tonight, a Nova Scotia man's harrowing story of terror and personal loss.
I could see a body laying on the side of the road. As I got closer, I could see it was my brother.
As grief and anger build, new video shows the killer shortly before he was stopped.
If people had been more aware to stay inside, maybe some of this tragedy could have been avoided.
So why wasn't there a province-wide alert? The RCMP response.
I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, Ontario's long-term care homes get military help.
Their support will provide staffing relief.
Canada has now lost more than 2,000 people to COVID-19. And first, it showed the world how to contain the virus.
We have stopped a wave of devastation.
Can New Zealand now show how to safely reopen? This is The National.
4 days after the deadliest mass shooting Canada has ever seen, emotions, of course, remain raw in Nova Scotia. Grief, yes, but it now has companions.
There is growing anger over a perceived lack of clarity from police and frustration that an emergency alert was not issued, even as the killing spree raged on.
No message was received, even though EMO had reached out a number of times throughout the morning to the RCMP.
Why that alert did not go out was a big question today, and the RCMP did respond.
We were in the process of preparing an alert when the gunman was shot and killed by the RCMP.
Now, why it took 12 hours to get rolling is something we'll dig into tonight. We'll also share new video of the gunman, but we want to start with the story of a survivor and a loved one lost.
Clinton Ellison was in Portapique on Saturday. His night started with a family get-together with his brother Corey and their dad. It ended with him hiding in the bush from a rampaging killer, his family forever shattered. Ellison shared his story with CBC's Brett Ruskin.
Something right out of a horror movie. Worse than a horror movie.
Clinton Ellison, his brother Corey, and their father were about to turn in for the night when they heard something outside.
It was about 10 o'clock. They went upstairs to go to bed. Me and my brother were upstairs listening to music, talking. We heard a single gunshot and didn't think anything of it. We stepped out front of his house and looked, and we could see a large glow in the sky from a very large fire.
That fire, at least one of the 5 buildings the shooter set ablaze.
My brother said he was going to go up and check it out. My father told him not to. My brother said, "I'll be right back." I was sitting there with my dad, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting. My brother didn't come back. Finally he phoned. And he says, "Listen, the fire's really bad. I'm taking pictures. Call the fire department."
That phone call was the last time Clinton heard his brother's voice.
We waited and we waited and we waited. And I walked up the road looking for my brother with a flashlight. My father come with me so far, but he stopped at the end of his driveway and turned around and went back in his house. I walked up looking for my brother with a flashlight. And I could see a body laying on the side of the road. As I got closer, I could see it was my brother. I got one more step closer, I could see blood, and he wasn't moving. I shut my flashlight off. I turned around and I ran for my life in the dark. Around and looked down towards the road I had just run from to see a little flashlight flashing around looking for me.
According to the police timeline, the shooter was still in the area and had already killed many victims.
I ran so hard into the woods. I was lucky enough that when I was hiding, I waited about an hour before I could pull my cell phone out because I didn't want it to light and give my position away. And when I thought it was safe, I phoned my dad and I told him, phone the police. I think Corey's shot and dead. And I said, shut the lights off and hide. And he said, "Yes, I will." I said, don't call me back. I don't want my phone to light up. And I laid on the ground and I nearly froze to death. I was laying there for hours. All I could hear was explosions from the fires and gunshots coming from all around me. Yeah. It was the most terrifyingest thing I've ever experienced in my life. They got me out of there with an armored vehicle. A nightmare through hell. It's a nightmare through hell to walk up and find my brother dead and to be hunted by this fella that killed all these people. I'll be traumatized for the rest of my life.
Clinton shared his family's story, but says his thoughts are also with everyone who lost loved ones in this violent attack. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Portapique, Nova Scotia.
Now, like so many others affected by this tragedy, Ellison also wants to know why an emergency alert did not go out. Kayla Hounsel examines the growing frustration over that part of the story.
I was watching the news earlier. It really made me sick to my stomach that they didn't put the emergency alert out.
Clinton Ellison says what happened Saturday night might have been avoided by an emergency alert.
If the police had to put the emergency alert out, I would have got it on my phone hiding in the woods and I would have known what was going on. And it could have saved some more lives.
The RCMP did notify the public about the murderous rampage on Twitter. After days of emerging anger, today the force said it was in the midst of issuing an alert when the gunman was shot and killed. But that was well into Sunday morning, and only because emergency management officials reached out offering to trigger the alert.
A lot of the delay was based on communications between the EMO and the various officers, and then a discussion about what the message would be, how it would be constructed and what it would say.
For days, the Premier has been insisting the province didn't issue the alert because the RCMP didn't ask for one.
We would not go from what's happening by Twitter. We would need the lead agency to actually craft the message so that we could put that out, and no message was received, even though EMO had reached out a number of times throughout the morning.
But some did get an alert. Only American citizens. The U.S. consulate sent its own notification.
I would say the email definitely prompted me to go to the news, which I might not have done on a regular Sunday morning.
The RCMP says it was handling a fluid, dynamic situation, its members dealing with unimaginable scenes. They say this is a complex investigation they expect to take months, but some questions may never be answered, as some will always wonder what might have been prevented if only that alert could have been triggered. Kayla Hounsel, CBC News, Halifax.
And as for the investigation itself, we still don't know why the shooter did what he did, but Thomas Degla is learning more about how he was able to stretch out his rampage disguised as a Mountie.
In the middle of a major manhunt, it's hard to picture a real police officer pulling into a parking lot and getting out this casually just to change what he's wearing. Turns out that man's the target of the manhunt, caught Sunday morning on this surveillance video shared with police. His killing spree underway since the night before. By 10:55 a.m., he's seen here in Millbrook, with police tweeting 9 minutes later he's been spotted nearby traveling southbound in the Brookfield area. They'd already warned the gunman was driving a real-looking RCMP car, but that caution, it seems, came more than 2 hours after a key witness told police. Though there may be a reason for the delay, says this former Mountie.
Could that have led to more false complaints as the public sees real police cars, and then you get these erroneous complaints all over the place?
Notice the mock RCMP cruiser has no license plate, but the killer is wearing parts of a real Mountie uniform, complete with a patch visible on his right sleeve.
I will tell you I'm very concerned that any individual intent on committing criminal acts could gain access to the decals for an RCMP vehicle or the uniform of an RCMP officer.
RCMP uniforms are procured by the government. Some individual items can be purchased from stores with proper RCMP ID, and 2 retailers told us there's no way they would have sold real Mountie clothing to the gunman. Who helped him get the gear is now a focus of the investigation.
We're working very hard to do exactly that, track the source of the uniform.
With his bright yellow safety vest back on, the gunman takes off. He wasn't done yet. His rampage would continue for another half an hour. Thomas Dagler, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, we've been sharing stories about how these tight-knit communities have been coming together in the wake of the shootings. And today, another example of that generosity. The municipality of Colchester says it'll be covering up to $5,000 in funeral costs for each of the victims. These are their faces. 22 people, confirmed or presumed dead. Portraits of the impact this tragedy has had on so many families. The RCMP hasn't officially named all of the victims, but through our own reporting, CBC News has been able to identify them, including 2 names we didn't know last night. Joy and Peter Bond were killed by the gunman. Family members posted tributes of the couple online. They had 2 adult sons and lived in Portapique, where the rampage began. And we will spend more time tonight taking a closer look at the lives lost by listening to those who knew them best. That's a bit later in the program.
Two provinces called in reinforcements today to deal with the coronavirus pandemic as Canada passed another milestone in the number of cases. There were more than 1,700 new cases detected in Canada today, most in Quebec and Ontario. The total number of coronavirus cases in Canada has now surpassed 40,000, with more than 2,000 dead. Hardest hit, of course, are long-term care homes. In Quebec, the Premier asked for an additional 1,000 soldiers to be deployed to act as support staff in care homes. There are already dozens working in homes across the province. Ellen Morrow shows us why Ontario's Premier made the same request today.
This is how Jenny Fawcett visits her parents. They have COVID-19 and live at Orchard Villa, where 32 residents have died.
The system, it's not working. And these are the most vulnerable of people. We would never allow this to happen to NICU babies in a hospital, but we allow it to happen here.
Today, Ontario's Premier called in the military.
Their support will provide staffing relief so staff can focus on the care of the residents.
At least 447 long-term care residents across Ontario have died, and more than 100 homes are facing outbreaks. But the province refused to say which facilities would be getting military support.
Military assistance will go to the homes that are in greatest need, and so I will leave it there.
Need is rampant, so is understaffing. Nearly 1,000 care workers have the virus, and staffing levels could get worse at some homes, with most workers now limited to one facility.
They're saying that a home is not implementing adequate protection and infection control measures. They will not choose to go there.
Ontario also revealed today it intends to start testing all long-term care residents and staff, a move it previously resisted despite pleas from advocates.
If we had a number of things way back earlier, we could have been much more liberal with our testing, but that was the reality.
The crisis and the handling of it led Dwayne Simon to take his mother out of Orchard Villa.
That's good.
He's now caring for her alone at home, taking extra precautions since she has COVID-19.
I don't know how many years she has left, but I will cherish every minute of this isolation with my mother.
It's something few may be able to do, but Simon felt it was his only choice. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
As Doug Ford requested military assistance for Ontario today, he also suggested a target date for reopening the province's economy. Speaking to an Ottawa radio station this morning, the Premier indicated that by May 18th, the Victoria Day long weekend, restrictions could be loosened. However, this afternoon, Ford did downplay that statement, saying no changes will be made until the province's top health officials say it's safe to do so.
It's not like flipping on a light switch. If anything, it's more like a dimmer switch that's been turned down. And over the next several weeks, we will gradually be turning up the light once again on Saskatchewan's economy.
Premier Scott Moe expressing cautious optimism in a province-wide address tonight as his government pushes forward with a 5-phase approach to reopen the provincial economy. We are expecting more details on that plan tomorrow morning.
To Alberta now, where outbreaks of COVID-19 are threatening Canada's beef supply. More than 500 workers at 2 processing plants have been infected. And now, as Carolyn Dunn tells us, the union representing them is demanding some accountability.
The virus is running rampant. Hundreds infected, 1 dead. The largest outbreak linked to a single workplace in Canada. The Cargill beef processing plant shut down yesterday amid growing calls for investigations.
So this is a workplace fatality and it needs to be investigated as such. In addition, we are asking that the provincial government call on the RCMP to launch a formal criminal investigation of the situation.
The RCMP say they don't have an open investigation into the death, but Alberta's Occupational Health and Safety does.
This will include investigations of any potential non-compliance that may have affected the health and safety of workers at the facility.
Workers had been raising alarms for a couple of weeks about conditions at the Cargill plant, saying public health directives were being ignored.
These deaths and these illnesses and this community spread, I believe a significant portion of it would not have happened if the province had intervened after we asked them to on Easter Sunday.
The union is calling for the temporary closure of another plant, JBS. 96 workers have tested positive. 2 people in that town have died, including a plant worker. Their causes of death are being investigated. But the plant will remain open under the watch of provincial and federal agencies.
These constitute an essential part of the food security of Canadians.
The 2 plants with outbreaks process more than 70% of Canadian beef. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
There's some good news today for students who've been struggling from the fallout of COVID-19, a $9 billion aid package.
With this benefit, you'll get $1,250 a month from May to August.
The announcement comes after many young people complained they had been excluded from existing financial programs. Students now in school, attending in September, and recent graduates will be eligible. Canada's largest prison outbreak continues to spread. A total of 77 positive tests are now connected to British Columbia's Mission Institution, with 5 inmates currently in hospital. A special mobile medical unit has been dispatched, and officials say all prisoners and staff will now be tested for the virus. And pit stops at Tim Hortons may look a little different moving forward. Starting today, all staff members are being required to wear masks, and employees will have their temperatures checked before going on shift. The company says masks used will not be the same as those used in hospitals.
Well, the pandemic has put on pause all but the most urgent of surgeries in Canada's hospitals. Now, surgeons and specialists are preparing to take on the enormous backlog. But as Nicole Ireland shows us, all this waiting has taken a real toll on patients.
Sherry Beattie loves spending time with her rescue dog, Lily, but her irregular heartbeat limits what she can do.
It's like a washing machine that's off balance when it's in the spin cycle. Like it just beats faster and odd. The fatigue, shortness of breath.
After waiting almost a year, she was finally scheduled for a cardiac procedure to fix the problem at the end of March. Then it was abruptly canceled due to COVID-19. Her husband, Jim, suffered a heart attack in February and had bypass surgery in March, just under the wire. The most urgent cancer and heart and stroke procedures have continued, but an estimated 15,000 to 20,000 cardiac procedures have been postponed, according to the Canadian Cardiovascular Society. When you factor in everything else that stopped, from cataract surgeries to hip and knee replacements, the surgical backlog could add up to as many as 100,000 patients across the country.
The surgeons have been most worried, and they're just seeing these waiting lists growing, and anxious patients are phoning back and worrying and so on.
There is a glimmer of hope, but it's fragile. University Health Network in Toronto is starting to perform a few more cancer surgeries and organ transplants this week. If it can continue ramping up, the surgeon-in-chief hopes to catch up on time-sensitive surgeries by the fall. But to do that, hospitals need government funding to run operating rooms during evenings and weekends, a reliable supply of personal protective equipment, and COVID-19 test kits for every patient before undertaking surgery. And if COVID-19 cases rise again, surgeries will ramp right back down. So the best way to restore surgical procedures for people like Sherry Beattie? Continue following public health guidelines, like staying home. Nicole Ireland, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, surgeries aren't the only medical casualties of the pandemic. Money and labor directed towards treatments and vaccines come at the cost of existing research aimed at potentially life-changing impacts. Ioana Miliotis explains.
1, 2, 3.
They went from racing to grinding to a halt. Ever since their son Michael was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder, Terry and Georgia Perovalakis haven't stopped looking for a cure. They were getting close.
We had a whole bunch of researchers around the world doing different things. All of our research has basically stopped
standstill.
Or a standstill, actually.
You know, we were hoping he would be walking by September. We
did it!
Over the last year, the couple has raised more than $1 million to finance a clinical trial for custom gene therapy that promises to help Michael walk.
Oh, look at you!
But the pandemic has paralyzed research around the world.
Mama's here.
Brad Wouters is with Toronto's University Health Network. He says thousands of clinical trials are on hold. Work that can change people's lives, like a current patient being treated for pancreatic cancer.
He was part of a medical research study here, and that information revealed a potential new therapy that could be very effective for that patient, an immunotherapy. But we only have access to that drug through a clinical trial, and so he won't get it.
Wouters says shuttered labs have put thousands of jobs at risk, and why UHN is asking the federal government for help.
We're at a point where we're going to see significant job losses as early as next week if something can't be done.
In Montreal, experts at McGill University say Canada's medical research industry relies on that brain trust, many of them international students.
We wouldn't want to lose this wonderful set of brains that help us develop the discoveries and the solutions that get out into the public domain.
As for Michael, the halt in research means a potential cure could be delayed for up to a year, and that could mean the difference between him walking or not.
It means he's going to degrade. Unfortunately, he'll slowly become more and more paralyzed.
They're trying to find ways to keep the research into Michael's gene therapy moving, trying not to think of what happens if they can't.
Yeah, I just look at one day at a time. I'm not thinking about the research stopping and him potentially not getting cured.
They've come too far, they say, to let their hope stall too. Joanna Brumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, as if COVID-19 hasn't caused enough pain, this next story may shock you. It's about children stuck at home for their own protection and spending more time online. But it's right there that an entirely different kind of danger is stalking. Megan Fitzpatrick takes a closer look.
Their schools and playgrounds closed, their sports teams and music lessons canceled. Canada's kids are home all day, every day. And they're passing a lot of their time online for school, to play games, and check social media. And online sexual predators are eager to take advantage.
One of the things we've noticed in the communication that we've been observing in some of the deeper and darker parts of the internet is essentially glee and delight that they're going to have a lot more access to kids.
The RCMP is closely tracking the activity with maps like this one. Every dot represents an IP address that has shared child exploitation content in the last 30 days. That's about 850 households from coast to coast. The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says reports to its tip line about sexual exploitation are up 40% just in the past 2 weeks. The centre monitors chat rooms used by offenders. A recent post shows one predator telling the others about a website used by kids that has literally been bursting at the seams in the last 2 weeks with boys.
We know that often youth who have had a situation like this occur will not report. They don't want to disclose what's happened. They try to deal with the whole situation on their own. And so we are definitely only seeing the tip of the iceberg here in these situations.
Sauer says it's key that parents talk to their kids about their online activity, set rules for their online time, use strict privacy settings, and encourage kids to speak up if a stranger tries to chat with them. The RCMP says it's determined to find these online predators, and the public can help by reporting any suspicious behavior to cybertip.ca. Megan Fitzpatrick, CBC News, Toronto.
The number of confirmed cases around the world tops 2.5 million, but today, New Zealand is cautiously celebrating.
We have stopped a wave of devastation.
Up next, how New Zealand's handling of the COVID crisis saved countless lives.
Plus, nature's taking over. Wildlife is making the best of the pandemic, running free while humans stay home.
And a special memory of Constable Heidi Stevenson.
She just had this compassionate, really soft, understanding face.
The unlikely but emotional bond shared by the slain officer and Rehtaeh Parsons' mom. We're back in 2. New Zealand is hoping to help Singapore deal with the coronavirus. It sent a plane load of essential supplies today. Overall, more than 2.5 million people around the world have been confirmed with COVID-19, with nearly 183,000 lives lost. But in New Zealand, population about 5 million, some 1,400 have caught the virus. Just 14 have died. So early and strict measures are credited with reducing the impact of the virus there. Chris Brown explains how they are continuing to pay off.
I'm that psyched up. Surf's coming soon. I'm getting ready now.
Zen Wallace won't have to wait long now to get back in the water. His passion and livelihood, surfing, was banned more than a month ago, criminalized as he calls it, as part of a sweeping lockdown in New Zealand's battle against COVID-19. His surf school was shuttered and beaches on the North Island were left empty. And while he didn't agree with the ban, perhaps the other strict measures were worth it.
Big props to our great Prime Minister. You know, she's done an incredible job of making us, keeping us safe and acting early and quick.
New Zealand's virus-fighting measures rank as among the most strident in the Western world. Most businesses were ordered shut and people were only allowed trips to grocery stores and pharmacies, and a little bit of outdoor exercise. But this week, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern came very close to proclaiming victory over COVID-19.
We have done what very few countries have been able to do. We have stopped a wave of devastation.
Infectious disease expert Susie Weil says while New Zealand has the advantage of being an island, using an extreme lockdown to eliminate the coronavirus rather than just slow it down took a lot of political will.
It's only a really viable strategy if you do it early enough.
Going forward, she says the key will be tracking new infections, locating anyone who comes in contact with a sick person, and monitoring the country's borders.
We may end up having countries around the world that are these little islands that, you could potentially travel between.
Singapore serves as a cautionary tale. It too seemed on the verge of eradicating COVID, but then got hit by a terrible second wave.
It could be a long way off before we actually get international visitors coming over here.
But as of this coming Monday at midnight, New Zealand will start sending kids back to school, permitting businesses to reopen, and letting surfers back in the ocean. Chris Brown, CBC News, Vancouver.
And still ahead on The National, we take your questions about COVID-19, plus in our ongoing coronavirus how-to guides. Do you really need to disinfect your groceries when you get home?
But first, when Rehtaeh Parsons died in 2013 after being harassed and bullied, her mother had little faith in the police. She thought ignored her daughter's pleas for help. Until Constable Stevenson brought a little kindness to the Parsons. Next, warm memories of an unlikely bond and her message to the Stevenson family.
What was once a quiet rural street in Rehtaeh today is still a crime scene. But this is a community holding on and holding together its members, looking for ways to comfort one another.
And I grew up down here, and I just lived 5 minutes down the road.
Like local musician Bill Elliott, playing his guitar by a makeshift memorial on a road with so many deep connections.
Corey Ellison and Greg and Jamie there, I knew them. It's just a real shocker, boy, I'll tell you. Not something you expect to happen. Not here, not anywhere, as far as that goes, but these people they'll come together.
That corner remains a place for people to gather, and for some, a place to return. That's what Corey Ellison's brother did today. You heard from Clinton at the beginning of the program, but he had a lot more to say about his younger brother.
My brother was a really good guy. My brother was really good. He would have been the first to jump, run, go, and help. And for him going to help cost him his life. Yep, cost my brother his life. He was a really good guy. He helped people that he could, and he was disabled. He had a seeing eye disability, and he was a generally good guy. He liked fishing and the outdoors and stuff like that. I knew a few of the other victims, and my heart goes out to their families. This is a total atrocity. I can't think of anything worse happening in this area. This is usually a peaceful, quiet community, I'm still in shock so bad I could barely function. I'm getting no sleep. I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm just terrified. I'm terrified from the whole ordeal. It's gonna scar me for life. It's horrible. It's something right out of a horror movie. Worse than a horror movie. This is real life. It took our friends and family. This is a total nightmare.
Corey Ellison was one of the 22 victims, all of their lives cut short. And we want to continue sharing their stories with you. So, just like last night, let's hear from the people who knew them best.
You have mixed emotions. 1 minute, you're okay, and then you start thinking about it. And it makes you feel sad, knowing this young man all of his life, knowing his whole family. He lived here all of his life. Him and his sister was always outside here playing as they were infants. Watched them playing in the yard, watched them grow up to having families of their own. Joey was an awesome guy. If you needed a hand and you called Joey, if he could come there, he would be there to help you. Poor Joe, jokingly to his wife before he went out to get the furnace oil, he said, I must get out there and get the oil and get back before that crazy person gets down here and starts shooting people. And lo and behold, he was the one that come up around the corner, and the gentleman shot the RCMP officer, and he took Joey's vehicle and shot Joey. They lost their dad. They'll never have another dad. He has 3 girls, aged 14, 6, and 1. No matter who would come in to take their place, they're never going to have another dad. That was their dad. And that's a sad thing.
They were such loving and outgoing and happy people. They would give their shirts off their backs. They would, to anybody. It's just unreal. We've been around them all our lives, right? And they're kids that grew up with our kids. The people that were killed grew up with our kids. They were the same age. So, it's hard to sink in, how such lovely people could be killed, and targeted for no reason at all. It's a nice thing to do. It shows support from the community. Greg was the most kindest person you could ever meet. He'd give the shirt right off his back for anybody. There's no such thing as looking at hindsight. It's just that we got to move forward and just support those affected.
Those stories will stick with many Canadians, as did the story of a Nova Scotia teenager, Rehtaeh Parsons, bullied and harassed. She died after attempting suicide in 2013. Not much could comfort Rehtaeh's family then, but the kindness of one woman has stayed with her mom, Rehtaeh Parsons. That woman's Constable Heidi Stevenson, shot and killed on the weekend. I spoke with Rehtaeh Parsons about the connection today. In the first few hours, as details of the dead were emerging, one name, one face in particular, made Rehtaeh Parsons stop cold. Constable Heidi Stevenson.
I'm thinking that is the lady that showed up at my home that night, but I wasn't sure. So I had to kind of sit on it and think about it. I was kind of hoping it wasn't her because she's just a sweet, sweet soul.
Hard to imagine Parsons is able to recall much kindness about April 4th, 2013, that terrible night her daughter tried to kill herself. When she called 911, it was Constable Stevenson who came to the house.
She just had this compassionate, really soft, understanding face. And it's not even that she had to say anything. It was just that she was holding space for me.
3 days later, Rehtaeh was taken off life support. Constable Stevenson was there every night, listening to stories of how a 15-year-old girl had been raped and photos distributed widely, a torment that haunted. Stevenson listened, offered little gestures that meant more.
The little tiny things like somebody's face, somebody being kind, somebody even passing you here's food, eat that. These are the things that actually really matter.
Parsons wrote of these memories in a Facebook post with some hard truths, that Stevenson's kindness came at a time when she had zero faith in police. It helped, as it did when Stevenson walked alongside Parsons at a memorial walk for Rehtaeh. And so, in the last few days, Parsons had a moment of connection with her daughter, the way we all talk with those we love who are gone.
Remember that night, remember her love and her compassion, that she was there with us those whole few days. Please, when you greet her, when you see her, please extend that love and compassion back to her.
Connections matter now, which is why Rehtaeh Parsons has a few more words for Constable Stevenson's children if they are one day searching for stories about their mom.
Your mom and all that she is to you does not go away, that she will remain inside of you and every fiber of you and everything that you do in your life, to remember that she is never far, and it won't always be this, and it won't always feel this horrible.
And that, she knows, must feel awfully hard to believe right now. But Rehtaeh Parsons, like a lot of Canadians, understands grief's grip all too well. Still ahead on The National, a lovingly crafted tribute to the 22.
It was just a way of saying thank you, and we're there for you.
The story behind a roadside remembrance in our moment.
And as we always do, we'll be taking your COVID-19 questions, including this one, which I'm sure has crossed your mind before. If I'm standing behind someone in a grocery store line and the wind is blowing, could I get sick even if I'm 6 feet behind? Back after this. Welcome back. It is time to answer more of your COVID-19 questions, and tonight it will be rapid fire style. Joining me, Dr. Ellison McGeer, infectious diseases specialist with Mount Sinai Hospital here in Toronto. So, Dr. McGeer, here's the first question coming your way. If I'm standing behind someone in a grocery store line and the wind is blowing, could I get sick even if I'm standing 6 feet behind?
Almost certainly not. It's very dangerous in medicine to say never. But the chance that the particles from somebody breathing would be blown on the wind and land on your face is really small. It's why the 6 feet rule exists, and really, no, you don't have to worry.
Okay, maybe here's a harder question. Could herd immunity eventually be as effective as a vaccine?
Well, yeah, that depends. Okay, so it's theoretically possible that this is a disease to which we all or almost all get antibodies, and once you have them, you're protected for life, and so everybody in the world gets infected once, and then nobody gets infected again. That might be true. We don't know that. We'd just be foolish to count on it, which is why we're working on vaccines.
Right. Can you sterilize a cloth mask by ironing it?
So you can certainly kill some of the virus by heating it up, but sterilizing requires a certain time, usually at least 10 minutes above a certain temperature, like 65 or 70 degrees centigrade, which you don't usually get from ironing. But I assume if you're ironing it, you washed it. And when you wash it, just the soap and water in the washing machine will remove the COVID-19 from it, so you don't need to worry about it.
That is a question we've gotten many times, so I'm glad you answered it. Dr. McGeer, thanks so much for your time. We'll leave it there.
Take care.
Now, as we've mentioned, we'll be asking your questions about COVID-19 every night, so send them in. You can message us directly on Instagram at CBC The National, or you can send us an email at covid@cbc.ca. Just be sure to put The National in the subject line. And next on The National, nature comes out of hibernation. As humans are stuck inside, consider the Earth a pandemic playground for animals. What that means for wildlife. Next. But first, as the pandemic changes just about every part of our lives, we are taking a look at everyday tasks, and today it is about the groceries you bring home. Do we really need to disinfect our groceries? Well, if you do nothing else, definitely do this. You have no idea how many things you just touched, and you do not want to bring those germs up to your face. Now, yes, you can wipe things down because you don't know who else has touched this. And interestingly, similar coronaviruses do actually last longer in the fridge. But Infection by groceries isn't even remotely one of the main ways that this virus has spread in this country. And if you take something like paper or cardboard, early studies show the virus survives less than a day on a surface such as this. So you will have needed someone to have touched this package who had COVID-19 not all that long before you went and touched it. As for fruits and vegetables,
you don't know who else might have touched it. So the safest thing to do is to bring it home and to wash it down with soap and water, particularly if you're going to be consuming the skin and particularly if you're not cooking it.
But just remember, your highest chance of infection isn't while you're at home with your groceries. It was while you're at the grocery store with all those people.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, self-recordings provide an intimate look at how COVID-19 has burdened one Ontario hospital's ICU. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, that seems to be a fox, maybe taking her litter of pups to the beach in Toronto, and a flock of sheep visiting a McDonald's in Wales, as you do. Wildlife have been exploring new habitats during this pandemic, and air quality has improved, if only temporarily, in so many polluted areas. And to mark this 50th anniversary of Earth Day, Rehtaeh Boudjikanian has more on the animals who are expanding their range.
When nature filmmaker Andrew Mansky set out to shoot a documentary about wolves in the wild, he found other occupants of the outdoors much closer to home.
Mule deer are hanging out with elk, and they're in these little islands in the middle of the highway. And even this morning we saw some white-tailed deer, and it's very peaceful, it's very quiet.
Similar scenes elsewhere, from these frolicking foxes in Toronto to this beaver out on the town in eastern Ontario to puma playtime in Chile.
Girl!
It's got this wildlife biologist looking to conduct research right in her own backyard.
Let's go find the coyotes.
She says it's only natural for wildlife to take over now that so many people are cooped up in their homes.
The animals aren't necessarily coming out more. What they might be doing is using spaces that we've been previously occupying that have disrupted their movement patterns and kept them out of certain areas.
And Alexander's hoping once people are out and about again, they'll have a new appreciation for the animals around them.
Maybe people are going to want to maintain some of that. They're going to want to know they live in a multi-species world, be more in touch with nature.
Then again, if this is what ends up happening instead, Andrew Mansky says Jasper's four-legged residents will know what to do.
When the tourism does come back, the animals will just go back to hunkering down in the woods, away from the roads when the traffic comes back.
But for now, wild animals are showing up in many unexpected places. Officials say give them a wide berth, and if you want them to do the same, don't leave food or garbage outside your home. Rehtaeh Boudjikanian, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, the moment is next. A special tribute to the 22 Nova Scotians killed this weekend.
Never expected it to be so important to people.
The story of how it came together and why he felt compelled to put it up. Next. Those maple leaves and that cutout of an RCMP officer represent so much. It's one Nova Scotian's way of honoring the victims of the shooting. It was built by Rob Corlett just outside his home so that all who drive by can remember those 22 Nova Scotians. That is our moment.
It's a memorial to all the people that have been victims on Sunday. We have a machine at work that can cut out different shapes and whatever idea we come up with. The leaves actually just started with a couple of them for decorations, but my wife quickly mentioned it would be nice if we did one for every victim, not including the assailant himself. And as of yesterday afternoon, I actually had to manufacture a smaller one when I found out that there was an unborn baby involved as well. I hate to say it, but we actually have extra leaves because we do not know how many victims there were. I hope I don't need to put any more of them out. It's not for recognition of us. It's just our way of saying thank you. It's a very busy road. Never expected it to be so important to people.
And of course, in a place like this, everything is personal. Rob says he worked with many of the victims. He was friends with Constable Stevenson's parents. And so, you know, this is an act of a neighbor, but also a friend.
And you look at what a display like that means. I mean, a heartbreaking part of this is that this is a guy who actually typically enjoys doing these displays. He tells us he's done a number of them for Christmas and that sort of thing, and that this was his first sad one that he's ever had to do. But I'll wager maybe his most important. That's The National for this Wednesday, April 22nd. Have a good night.